Okay folks, welcome to another video. It's been a long time between videos. It's been a long time between videos because we've been in lockdown in Melbourne. But exciting times. We are out of lockdown as of last week. So the first weekend possible, we were on the bike and away for 2 days. I'll do a few videos on that ride and bits and pieces. The very first one I wanted to do was a real world review of some of the gear that I've bought and talked about and done other videos on. The Sena 50R helmet intercom, the Rino 750. The third thing I want to cover is the UHF Bluetooth dongle. So first to the Sena 50R intercom. So today has been the first real world test of this unit, and there's good points and there's bad points. So the biggest issue, probably really the only issue, is the battery life. Now I can't exactly recall what they claim the battery life is, but it was like, I don't know, 11 hours or even 10. I tell you, I'd be happy with 8. I'd be happy with 6. But I reckon I got about 3 hours before the low battery warning beep started coming. Then it probably only lasted about another hour or so. Yeah, so maybe 4.5-ish hours, that was it. It was done, spent. Now, part of that is probably how we've been using it, which kind of leads to the good point. So we've had 3 of these units on mesh intercom. And as I've said in my previous video, the mesh intercom is absolutely brilliant. It is so clear, and for when you're a relatively tight sort of grouping, like a few hundred metres apart, it is fantastic. Like hill climbs, all that, great. We're clear.
You're clear to go.
Yep, clear to go.
1 way, 2, clear.
Andrew's on the way.
Taxiing. Oh, see it, Andrew. Oh, yeah.
Stick to the left, are we?
Just, no, yeah, hang to the left, but you can cross over the way up, but yeah, right, hang to the left.
Yeah, alright.
Just had a first initial corner. Go.
Yep, Tom's on his way. Come on, Tommy. So as you can see, my review wasn't terribly glowing in parts. So there's kind of 2 aspects to it. One is the battery life, and if I'd read up a bit more about it, I would have known that mesh makes a massive difference to the battery life. You can test that quite easily by seeing what the app says as remaining battery life without mesh on. And as soon as you turn the mesh on, bam, the battery life goes down, which is, it's unfortunate because mesh is so great, and I keep going on about it, but it really is good, and it's easy to use. You just turn it on and everyone's just there and it just works. Hooks in with other intercoms as well. What we also had was an older Sena unit, Bluetooth in, so just the normal Bluetooth intercom. And what I did was I paired up to that other intercom, and I also had the mesh on at the same time, and as soon as I paired up to the other guy, he was then
part of the whole mesh group as well. I didn't have to do anything, it just all worked.
There's another way to look at it, is that it only really works if you're in a close group, right? Because it's limited by range. Look, as soon as you spread out though, the mesh is not going to work. The maximum we got out of that mesh system was maybe 1 kilometre, and that was a wide open paddock, nothing, and we got about 1 kilometre and then it started to break up. So if you're more than that, forget it. So you may as well turn it off, save the battery in your intercom, and just use your UHF. The second thing I want to review is the Rino 750. Now there's two aspects to this. There's the GPS side and the screen, and then there's the UHF side. Now, to talk about the screen first, I found it quite adequate. I mean, I was a bit concerned earlier about the screen brightness and just the size of it. Well, I was watching a pink line for a while, and I was leading for a little bit on one section, and I found it fine to navigate with, even with the small 3-inch screen. So I was happy that I could do what I would normally do on the larger Montana on this. So I was happy with that. I could navigate fine. The screen brightness was fine. I had a little bit of issue once I put my sunnies on, but that's just me. So that just sort of dulled it a little bit more. And my these particular glasses I'm wearing, they are multifocals, which means I can read the screen better when it's close. My sunglasses are not, so I sort of had to put my head back so that I could actually see it clear, and then it was a bit too small. So that's a long-winded way of saying, if your eyesight's fine, this is fine. If you're getting old and your eyes are starting to go to the pack, yeah, maybe it's not for you. Anyway, I found it quite fine. The touch screen sensitivity was a bit dodgy with gloves. Far easier on the bigger screen Montana, because just like buttons and things are bigger. Yeah, but anyway, that's the GPS side. On the UHF side of things, it worked fine as a UHF radio. So it pairs via the little UHF dongle. It talked to my Sena intercom, and it worked fine. I could transmit and receive. People could hear me, I could hear them. It was all good.
Bit dodgy launching over those things around mining country.
And we didn't use it that much, just because we were such a close group anyway over this weekend, because we were using a cornerman system. So we tended to just use the mesh system and the normal intercom system rather than UHF, but it worked fine. So all of that kind of leads on to this little jigger here, the UHF Bluetooth dongle and cable. So as I've mentioned in other videos, this plugs into the Rino 750, and then this pairs with my Sena headset, and I can use the UHF with no wires. There was 2 of us with these units on this ride, and both of them worked absolutely perfectly. As in, totally clear, as good as any UHF transmission that you'll ever hear, which is, you know, sketchy anyway, but there was certainly no issues. So I could hear people, and they could hear me. It was all fine. 2 days, no problems. I didn't charge it at all, and it all just functioned fine. I found if I turned my Sena off, this eventually would just power itself off, which is good. And when I came back to the bike, just turn on the intercom, turn this thing on, pairs up straight away. It's all good. Now, I will have a lot more to say on this little unit. I'm going to do a full video on this and talk a lot more about the things that you need to make your own. So I know that's going to please a lot of people, and I promise I will go into a lot more detail on this and how to make it in future videos. So stay tuned for that. So that's about all I've got for now for this video. It's just a short review on the different bits and pieces. I'll do a more of a review on the ride itself, and just go through some of the highlights on that and where we went and all the good things that go with rides. So thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, tell your mates, share it, all those things. See you in the next one. Bye for now.